Hi class, Professor Banker here. I'm going to talk about your research paper in philosophy of religion. I'm going to go through the instructions, try to give you some tips. I'm going to just cover the rubric. So after this, I hope you're really clear about what I'm expecting and what to do. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Send me an email or talk to me before or after class. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so here we have the instructions for philosophy of religion paper. Two main purposes of this paper. So there's going to be two big sort of components. One is you have to sort of figure out what your topic is. What's the thing you're going to argue? Are you interested in the problem of evil? Arguments for God's existence? The relationship between faith and reason? And once you have a general sense, then which set of ideas do you really want to engage? Do you want it to be Thomas Aquinas with faith and reason, or Kierkegaard? Do you want to talk about John Hick's view of the problem of evil? So you know what you want to write on, and now you're going to engage a particular individual. You've narrowed the scope. Part of the paper, 50% of it or so, is just getting it right in terms of explaining the author's views. What does John Hick really say about the problem of evil, right? Set it up. Give me some short quotes. Unpack it so that you've done a really good job of thoroughly explaining this person's views. You don't want to create a straw man. It's a fallacy where you set up a very weak version of the person's argument. So you set the person up, you only give certain details, you leave other things out, you make certain assumptions that make their position weaker, and then you easily destroy their view. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you give the best possible formulation. So that's number one. Step two is 40 or 50% of the paper is you then constructing your own critical assessment. Where has this person gone wrong? Where are they weak? What criticisms would you raise? Where are they strong? How would you defend them? Right? Here you want to use resources to help you make your argument. So you're describing this person's views, and then you're really sort of taking a stance and making an argument. And maybe there's some good in the person and you want to articulate that, some bad, why there's bad. The why is what I really care about, the actual argument. So that's two components, right, of the paper. If you write on a subject you've covered in class, great. If you want to do something else that's related to philosophy of religion, which there are a lot of topics we're not going to cover, just make sure that you talk to me about it. Talk to me about the topic, let me know, and we can work it out together. I want you to use at least 5 outside sources, things that we're not reading in class. You can do more than that, but you have to have at least 5. I say 10 pages, but I don't grade on length. That's an approximate. So I don't count the page numbers. Just write a good paper. If it turns out to be 8 pages and it's good, you're probably going to do fine. Students do all kinds of weird things to get to page limits. They put Courier New. They, at the beginning, they'll have their name, their date, their sign, their social security number, the title of their paper, what class it is, who the professor is, and then they don't start until the very bottom fourth of the paper, and it looks terrible, right? There's all kinds of ways students try to stress it. Don't do that. Just write a good paper, right? I'm giving you an approximate length, but don't stress on that. The key to the paper for me, one of the huge keys is the first paragraph. Your first paragraph has to function like an abstract. So I want a clear thesis. This is philosophy. It's not creative writing. I don't want a fluffy first paragraph. I want you to get right to the heart of it. In this paper, I'm going to argue X. Then I need 3 or 4 sentences after that says, right, I'm going to make my argument by looking at this evidence, this philosopher, this piece of data, so that after one paragraph, your paper is outlined, right? Every major movement is there, and I've got a real good sense of what the paper is doing and what it's trying to argue. First paragraphs are vital. If you have a bad first paragraph, chances are the paper is not going to be good. It's rare that a bad first paragraph turns into a good paper. So make sure you work on that. You sculpt it well. You spend a lot of time. The clearer you are about that first paragraph. The clearer the writing is and the clearer your sense of purpose is for the paper, the better your argument is going to be. If you cite sources, you can use Chicago, and I give you the online reference, but any professional style will do as long as you're consistent. MLA, APA, Chicago Trading, just make sure that you use it consistently, right, throughout the paper. Footnotes, endnotes, I'm really not picky. It needs to be professional style. It needs to be consistently cited. Common mistakes that students make. One is they don't find the right balance between describing and arguing. So some students will spend 90% of the paper describing the views of others, but they never really make an argument of their own until the very end, the last page. That's going to hurt your grade immensely. The biggest portion of the grade is strength of your argument. And if your whole argument gets onto one page only, then it's going to be a really weak argument. So make sure that you spend 40 or 50% of the time describing the views of others, 40 or 50% of the time making your own argument, right? Your voice needs to come through. Another big mistake that hurts students is they try to give you too many arguments that are all one paragraph long. You're going to give me 7 different arguments, 7 different examples, each a paragraph long, none of them any with no depth. So what you need to do instead is to limit it. Say I'm going to give you 2 arguments in this paper, but make each of those arguments 2 or 3 pages long, and give them depth, give them examples, give them backup, give them some justification. So narrow the scope, don't try to give me too many arguments, and make the few that you focus on really deep and well thought out. So those are the big things. If you run into trouble and you think that it's going to be late or something's going to happen, make sure you communicate with me, talk to me, keep me updated. Again, plagiarism I think often occurs because students get nervous and scared and they don't feel like they can write the paper and they don't want to fail. If you start to feel panic like that, just email me, let me know, we'll try to figure something out. Don't wait till the last minute on these papers, right? The better papers are the ones where you've got a rough idea what you want to write and you're thinking about it, do some reading. Make this a slow progression. Don't wait till the very end because it really hurts the quality. I think this helps. Hopefully it's clear what I'm asking in the paper. I'm going to look at the rubric with you so you kind of know what I'm going to be grading on. So the criteria here, you have introduction, the introductory paragraph. I'm going to care about this a lot, and you can see what full credit looks like, excellent looks like, right, good, adequate. You've got these descriptions that help. I'm going to look at the organization of the paper. Does it flow well? Is it explained well? Do you give enough time for your intro, enough time for description, enough time for your argument? Do you give a clear conclusion? How was it organized? How well does it flow? How well do you represent the views of others? Do you create straw man fallacy? Do you create a strong version of your opponent's argument? Right? I want to make sure that you're representing the views of others really well. The strength of argument down here, again, this is the most important. How well do you articulate your view? How well do you support your view? You have sources and citations, so are you using a professional style? Are you using it consistently? Are you citing the sources? Are you using quotation marks? If you write a paper, you write a bunch of paragraphs and you don't cite anything, the assumption is you came up with that information on your own, which isn't true, which makes it plagiarism. So at the end of paragraphs, you'll want to cite what books and what pages it comes from. Same with quotes. And then, of course, writing and grammar. How well written is it? What's the punctuation like? You never want your writing to take away from your ideas, so you want to work on that. Get it done early, read it over, have someone else look it over so that it flows and reads well. So these are the things you'll be graded on. You can look at this rubric. It's on Canvas, and it will really help you get a sense for what excellent looks like and what I'm really looking for. Sorry about that. I hope these instructions are really clear for you. Again, if you have any questions at all, if you are confused or don't really know what I'm expecting in the paper, please let me know. I'll try to help. But have a great day, and I'll see you guys in class.